everybody. Happy 2022. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. We're going to give everybody a few more minutes here. We're just hitting admit. We've got a few more people that need to get in the room. Welcome, welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is SJREI, January 2022. Hard to believe here we are a couple of years into COVID and we're still meeting online, but yay, we can still meet. So we love it, right? SJREI, it's where the deals happen and you can ask me anything real estate. We're here to provide education. We do not endorse or warrant any of our speakers, and we highly recommend that you do your own due diligence. As you know, we're here to provide education, networking, and inspiration to give you a profitable future. And when we surveyed our group, we found that over 78% of our regular attendees have done business together. So if you want in on that action, just keep following us here at SJREI. 78% of the people have done business together. That's pretty spectacular. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about a lot of the noise you're hearing out there about inflation. Has anybody felt the inflation? Like every time you go to the gas pump, it goes from, it used to be what, go ahead. Yeah. It's crazy, right? Like what it used to cost me $28 to fill my gas tank is now $45 to fill my gas tank. And that's not even the beast. I have a 2000 Ford Excursion that we won't even talk about how much it costs. It's over the limit. you know how on the pump they say you can only put $250 in. Well, it's over that. So let's talk a little bit about inflation and then kind of like what you can do about it, right? So the way inflation works is if you were to buy a cup of coffee in 1970, that cup of coffee would have cost you a quarter. In 1980, it would have cost you 45 cents. And then each year it gets a little bit more, a little bit more. And, you know, right now we're about $2.50. So even from 2020, we've gone up significantly. It doesn't change the coffee. It just changes how much of your money it takes to buy the coffee. Now, another thing that you might be seeing in the stores and in the process is they are shrinking the size that you get. So maybe you go in and you buy something, it's still the same price. So let's just say a box of cereal. A box of cereal still costs $3.59. But instead of 18 ounces, now you're getting 16 ounces. And so they're shrinking that. They're giving you less. So your dollar is valued for less. Basically, it's deflating what you can buy while it's inflating how many dollars you need to get to that particular product that you want. So in 1980, oops, my slides went ahead of me here. Let's see if I can get back. Previous. In 1980, interest rates were set around 20%. At that point, we've seen them slowly and systematically go down. Now, we've had some variations here and there, but technically they have been going down since 1980. And guess what? We're pretty much at the end game. What happens? Where do you go when you hit 0% interest rate?
Negative.
Negative. Or you raise inflation. Inflation then allows us to push the interest rates back up. So, you know, here we are seeing inflation, the government saying 6%, 7% is transitory for a year, whatever. The reality is we have inflation, and this is a created event to allow us to push the interest rates back up because we're at near zero or zero in some instances, and there's nowhere else to go. Now, Robert Kiyosaki says that savers are losers. And that might shock some of you because you're thinking, oh, aren't we supposed to save? But where are you going to save your money? If you put it in the bank and you save it there, you're going to get less than 0.5% return. So you're getting 0.5%, but your buying power just lost 6%. So you're going negative, you're losing. So you have to kind of think about how can you make this situation work for you? And what you do is you look at a balance sheet. Now, a lot of people get all freaked out. They go, I don't know accounting. Don't talk to me balance sheet. Don't talk to me income statement. Okay, you guys have to learn these terms because these are the terms of the wealthy. Balance sheet is where you get to see your assets, you get to see your liabilities, and you get to see your equity. It's what we talk about in houses, right? So our liability or our debt gets to be paid back with devalued money. So if you borrow $100,000 today and you pay it off in 30 years, is that good or bad? It's good because you're paying it off in 30-year inflated dollars, right? So over time, every month when you're making that payment, that dollar is worth less, but you're paying on the same nominal amount. And so that is how you get to stay ahead. In addition, if you buy the right kind of assets, you get to have income that increases with the inflation. So you're not left behind. And again, the right type of asset that's valued on the income also goes up with value. And so this is what you want to be looking at right now, is you want to be going out and finding things that are going to be hedges against inflation and at the same time deflation, because we're having both of those at the same time right now. So the US Fed has been buying mortgage-backed securities. They have been creating the market for mortgages to be sold into. And they just kind of went out and said, we're tapering off, but they forgot to say we already tapered off. I mean, they have already tapered off. And because of it, you're seeing interest rates go up. So if you're thinking that you want to go out and you want to get a loan, probably now would be a good time because they are going to continue to taper off to a point of where they see a tipping point, because they are the largest owner or greatest stake in the stability of the real estate market. So they're hopefully, I mean, we don't know, government can always do crazy things, but we hope that they don't push us over the edge, but they are going to keep tapering off buying those mortgages, meaning the demand for the mortgages is, after they're created, is going to go away, which means your interest rates are going to go up. So it's very important, if you're thinking about getting into a property, go ahead and do it now. You know, take the loan now. And if you think about it, you're going into a loan maybe at 3 or 4% with inflation at 6%. So you're borrowing money at 3 or 4% with inflation at 6%, which means that you're essentially borrowing free money. You have negative 3%. Between your two, you're getting the money almost for free. Now, what a lot of people also don't understand about our banking system is that, let's say you go to Europe and you buy a trinket and you buy it in the dollar, they hold on to those dollars. Or you buy oil, those companies are, or those countries are holding on to the dollar. A lot of things are set to the dollar as far as being our currency of trade. And that whole economy that's holding those dollars is considered the shadow banking industry, the shadow banking system. That system is collapsing, and we don't hear anything about this on our US news. So what you have to understand is that the dollar is starting to lose its position as our global currency. What that means for you is a couple things. You have to be wise. One, you need to have liquidity. Don't be going out and buying properties 100% financed. Make sure you have liquidity. Make sure that you have those US dollars in hand. Even though the value is going down, it's important to have some in hand, because if the whole economy blows up, you're still going to need them to buy things. Think of it this way. I heard this analogy. If the Titanic is sinking and everybody's climbing to the tip of the Titanic, there's only a certain spot at the tip. That's like having the US dollar. When the dollar is going away, like it's dying, you still need to have the dollar to buy your toilet paper and buy your food. So you have to have that. But in addition, you have to be spread across other things. Housing, if you think of housing, it is nothing more than a collection of commodities like sheetrock and lumber and, carpet and all these things. All these commodities are put together to create something of value that we live in. And if you can own real estate, you may have a little bit of a dip, but in the long run, people still need it. It's like food, food, shelter, clothing. So it's a good thing to have. And whatever the currency turns out, if it's not the US dollar after the whole bubble bursts and it's something else, it's still going to be traded in a currency that relates to the value. Now, the other thing to recognize about real estate is, while we call real estate an asset because it's a collection of your commodities, the true asset in the real estate is your tenant. And what I say about that is, think about all the offices. How many office buildings do you think are sitting vacant right now? Okay. Those tenants that are renting those office buildings, their viability as a tenant affects your viability as a landlord. So you want to make sure you're holding assets that the tenant, that you're thinking ahead. All right, if everything falls apart, what are people still going to need? Right? They're still going to need housing, apartment complexes, single family homes in good neighborhoods, all of that. So that's what you want to be looking at, is not just the commodity, but also the tenant. You want to make sure you're attracting the right kind of tenant. So what I'm trying to say is that it's important for you to not just be following the masses, not just be listening to the narrative on the TV, but to start doing what the rich are doing. Right now, they're out buying assets with covered leverage. I'll talk about that in a minute. Gold, other currencies like cryptocurrency, and even the euro. And you know what the thing is? They're not creating generational wealth by holding on to the fiat currency. They're not holding on to the physical dollars in a savings account. They're investing those dollars into assets that create value through income, and they use debt. If you go to one of these conferences that has many high net worth individuals, they'll talk about how, maybe they buy an asset for $1 million, and that asset's value, after they do some value add to it, now is worth $5 million. So many people would say, oh, well, let's just sell it and get our 4 million out. But that's not what high net worth individuals do. Instead, they go to the bank and they take the debt. They take 3 million or 4 million. So it's a covered debt. They have enough income to cover that debt. They don't take any more. So if that number is 3 million, great. If that number is 4 million, great. They take that out as debt. Now, when they take that money as debt, is it income? Do they have to pay taxes on it? No. Hello. Okay, so now then they take that and they roll it into another asset that then creates depreciation and appreciation, income, all these benefits that then compound over and over. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be thinking this way. Now, if they take that 4 million and they go out and they buy cars and they buy boats and all these other things, they're not accomplishing the goal of creating ongoing generational wealth. So I'm not saying create the value and then go spend it in ways. I'm saying create it and reinvest it. And when I talk about covered debt means that you have the income coming in to keep making the mortgage payment. Any of us who lived through 2008, we know what it's like to get in a position where you go out and speculate on real estate. You buy it thinking, oh yeah, I can make that mortgage payment, even if it's negative because I have a good job. And then you lose your good job. And what happens? You lose the real estate. So cash flow is king in this situation. All right, so that is what's going on with inflation. That's what we've got going on here. And what I'm saying is if you have the opportunity to buy well-covered properties, you need to get out there and take action now. The time is now. And speaking of that, I have a property I did purchase already. I've fully renovated it. We are offering this. I bought it as a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom. We put another bathroom in, so it's 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom. We're offering it out to nurses, renting it room by room. Excellent cash flow. Everything is in place. We're just looking for one more joint venture partner. If you're looking to place $100,000, maybe you have IRA money or home equity line money, and you want to share in some of the appreciation and the cash flow of this, you can reach out to me because I do have this opportunity available. What was that? Oh, a little bit of the pictures here. So reach out to me at support@SJREI. We have a couple upcoming events that I want to share with you. Next week, Tuesday evening, we're going to do an alternative to 1031 exchange. So you're hearing a lot of news that 1031s might be going away. We have a system that you can use to sell assets. If you have a gain that's going to be 500,000 or more, this can be used if you have multiple partners. Maybe one of you wants to do a 1031, one of you doesn't. This is a way to get the cash out and defer your taxes for 30 years. It's been around for over 30 years, and our group has helped multiple dozens of individuals do this and defer their taxes. So you can register for this. There's a little link in the banner at defertaxgetcash.com. We're going to do a webinar on this next week and explain what it is, and you can learn how to use that. The other event that I'm very excited about, and this is just the ladies.
Wow.
This is our ladies first construction and design event that we're hosting in Chicago. Yes, Chicago in the winter. You can experience the snow. But Roddy Garcilaso and myself, we're going to host a construction and design event in Chicago. And during this event, we're going to talk specifically to women about how to control your crews, how to set up a job site for success, how to be confident in the pushback, because it is very much a machismo sort of environment. And you have to be able to go in there with the confidence to direct the project for your success. And we're going to talk a lot about those dynamics. We're going to give you all the tools that you need. So if you are a female entrepreneur in wanting to do rehabs, we highly, highly suggest that you attend this event. We're going to talk about how to interact with alpha males, how to manage construction, run business operations. We're going to give you all the systems and processes of doing this. And this is like from the minute you close, until you sell. Like, how do you put your house into production and get it rehabbed? If you followed me at all, you know that that's what I do here in the Bay Area. And I can do like a full gut rehab. Like, we're taking out the sheetrock and the plumbing and the electrical and putting it all back in 8 weeks. We can get the entire thing done in 8 weeks. It's because we come in with the mentality of production. We set everything up. So we're going to give you all of that information. We're going to talk about design and implementation, because a lot of people are afraid, like, what if I choose the wrong tile? It's easy. You won't. We want you to be leaders in business and how to handle the relationships. If you're working with your spouse, who handles what part. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So we do encourage women and their spouses or business partners to come. This is 3 days of training, and it's only $997 per seat. You can have your spouse or guest come for $100 more. We have 14 days until we start the training. There's 2 links there. There's the bit.ly link. That's the shorter one. Or if you want to type in the whole thing, it's right there, the rehabdepotVP.com/event/. So we hope that we will see you in Chicago. All right, Jeff, do we have everybody here? Are we ready for Phillip? Okay. National real estate expert, knowledge, integrity, passion for his family, passion for other families. I can tell you, Phillip is very much a leader in the industry, caring about how to help seniors get in to their next stage of life, helping their families deal with the houses that they have, the situations, and moving forward. And he has been well received on many of the other real estate, real estate clubs. And I was honored that he reached out and said, hey, would you like me to present? I'm like, yes, thank you so much. So Phillip, I'm going to stop my share and the stage is yours. Let's all welcome Phillip with the Zoom hands. Yay.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay, Lori?
I can hear you. Yes. Awesome.
Hey, okay. And do we have it set up to where I can, do I have to?
Yep. So now you should be able to share.
Share.
At the very bottom, share your screen.
Mom's house. Open. Okay, did that pull it back up? Here it comes.
It's coming up. Yay. It says you're sharing your screen.
Sharing the slides. Lori, I want to talk about you for a second. I've always enjoyed you as a person because I've always thought of you as what I call a big thinker in real estate. And what I mean by that, I lovingly mean that is in that you are unique in your the way you do real estate. You just don't look at it as a buy, a rehab, and a sell, right? There's so many ways to make so much money in this real estate business. And yet you gave me the cold chills earlier talking about inflation, right? We're all scared to death what inflation means. But instead of being on the sideline and being scared about it, you gave actionable, here's what we need to do to protect ourselves, guys, right? I love that about you. And I've always appreciated that about you. And you said something, a couple of notes I took was the 1031 exchange. Has anyone asked themselves, why are they taking that away?
No.
I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about that. Can you believe that? I'm actually going to talk to you about this silver tsunami, this wave of seniors that are coming is so big, the government doesn't know what to do about it either.
Oh,
how scary is that,
sense.
right? How scary is that? You talked about women in real estate. Thank you for bringing up women in real estate. Guys, if you're listening tonight, I want to let you know, Mom's House program that I'm going to share with you is better suited for females than it is for men. And it'll be obvious as to the reason when I'm done with this. So guys, you can be a guy and be successful, but this is better suited for women. I'm glad to share this. And then we're going to talk about my favorite subject, guys, lead sources. When you got into real estate, you thought to yourself, I'm going to be in real estate, but really you realize quickly you're going to be in the marketing business, right? How do I get into the marketing business? And so tonight we're going to talk about a way to have a lead source that not only feeds you right now, but feeds you for the next 20 years. 20 years. And I'm not making that up. That's not even like a made up stat. For the next 20 years, I'm going to teach you how to feed yourself for the next 20 years. So I'm Phillip Vincent. I want to go and, you know, some of you have seen me on Bigger Pockets. You know, I can name off a bunch of big names that you've heard of, right? But I'm the guy that's going to show you tonight how senior living is the source of the best real estate leads ever. And I'm excited to share with you guys the pre-probate, it's a fun word, the FLASHPOINT system. What do I mean by pre-probate? That means mom has not passed away yet. She's about 28 months on average from passing away. It's that moment, that flashpoint when the family is moving their parent into senior living. The craziest stat is 7 out of 10 Americans over the age of 65 are going to live in some sort of assisted care before they pass away, right? So it's not a little niche, right? People say, Phillip, you're in a great little niche. And I always laugh and I'm like, you have no idea what you're saying. This is the biggest niche ever. This is real estate, right? I'm going to wipe out the notion that you have to spend thousands of dollars a month to be a successful real estate investor. A lot of people go to these programs and they say, man, the only way I'm going to get my phone to ring is I'm going to outspend my competition. And I'm telling you tonight that it doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to wipe out that notion completely. In fact, you can have a marketing budget, drive it down to zero if you build the right relationships with the right people in senior living. And so who is this training for tonight? This is for real estate investors who are tired of the competition in their local markets. When competition goes up, all that does is drive the profits down. And I'm going to show you a way to fish in a pond where there's no one else fishing in that pond right now currently. I'm going to show you guys a way to work less hours, where you can drive your marketing budget down to zero. And if I show you how to make more money by doing less work, would you take me up on that opportunity? Obviously, anyone that's in real estate would say yes to that. I'm going to show you how that works. And so thank you guys for being here tonight with me. This training is for anyone that wants a lifestyle of working way, way less than 40 hours a week. That's what this program can have. In fact, I think you need to work about 3 to 5 hours a week at the beginning to build the relationships. And once those relationships are built, then you can actually work less than that in what I'm talking about tonight. So here's the problem that I see for real estate investors today, and see if this rings any bells for what everyone listening tonight. From what I see, all real estate investors are using the same marketing tactics, right? Pay-per-click, driving for dollars, cold calling, bandit signs, of course, direct mail, you know, all these tried and true ways. They're all ways to get your phone to ring with leads. But the problem that I see is the competition is so fierce right now that your marketing budgets have gone up, but your responses have gone down, right? And you're like, well, there has to be a better way. When competition increases, all it does is it costs you your profits. And do you ever feel like you're only as good as your last marketing ad spend? What I mean by that is, if everyone thought to themselves right now, if you did a marketing direct mail campaign drop and this was the last one you did, if you turned it off and you never did it again, how soon would it be to where your phone would never actually ring again? It's a scary thought, right? Once you get in that hamster wheel of having to spend marketing to get your phone to ring, the goal is to never turn it off with direct mail. If you feel like you're only as good as your last marketing ad spend, it's because you aren't building something that's sustainable. And so you might be thinking, I want to build a business that's really big. You know, people say these vanity numbers, like I want to buy 100 houses a year, but I want to teach you tonight that you might really want to think about the life that you want and then build the business around it. I know Lori and I think we met through the Life and Error whole approach to life. And I know I live my life that way, and I think you do as well. It's like, guys, the senior living industry, what it's taught me is that the golden years might not be so golden. So you really need to live your life right now, right? And so I'm really excited to show this to you. This is for investors who have the desire to have real estate deals chase you. Not just any real estate deals, by the way, the best real estate deals I found. I've been doing this real estate thing for 22 years. The past 11 years, Lori, I've been working in senior living. And if you look to the left here, this is what's called a placement agent. Does anyone maybe in the chat can tell me, have you guys heard of what a placement agent is before? And if you have, that's unique. Most people don't know what a placement agent is. A placement agent is kind of like a real estate agent for the senior living world. So let's say Lori and Phillip are brother and sister, and tonight we get a text that's saying our mother has to move into senior living. Well, immediately we're like, oh man, does mom live by me in St. Louis? Is she going to live by you, Lori, where you live, or is she going to live back at home where she's from? We don't know, right? We're scrambling to make these really good decisions really fast. We as a family have to make a really hard decision really quickly. And placement agents, if you notice here on the left, Jeff and Sharon Ballou, you know, she puts me on a pedestal and she says, hey, this is the guy that fixes this problem for my other clients. Phillip will come out and turn your equity into care. Let me be clear, guys. These people are trying to turn their equity into care at that moment. It's the flashpoint of when the family needs to sell the house. And so if you have a desire to help others while making a great living, this could be a perfect program for you. I'll be clear, guys, with over 100 people on here right now, if you're only transactional and you only care about making money and you don't care about people, this is not even close for you. This is not your right program. You can tune out, right? This is not for you if you're just transactional, but if you truly have a desire to help others while making a great living, this is a phenomenal way to have a lead source that comes directly to you. Here's some stats. I know a lot of you, I love numbers, so let me just read this. Hundreds of millions of dollars all over the USA are waiting to be claimed right now. 70% of those turning 65 are expected to require some sort of long-term care before they pass away. So my second favorite lead source is probate, right? Probate means someone has passed away. The adult children need to sell the house because that's their inheritance. That's my second favorite lead source. My first one is these pre-probate leads. Why? Because the families need to unlock that equity. Mom's still alive, let's be clear. Mom has about 28 months left on average. They need to unlock that equity to pay for that very expensive long-term care. And a lot of people think, well, no, I have Medicare, I'm set. Not even close. Medicare does not pay for your long-term care. It's Medicaid that pays for you to live if all of your assets are under $2,000. So you have to be broke as a joke to even get Medicaid. If you end up on Medicaid, that's not where you want to be. You're going to end up in a, what I would call, there's a hotel life and a motel world, right? You end up in that motel. Medicaid is the largest contributor to long-term care spending, but they don't give you that money until after you spend down your assets, which includes selling the house. Guys, there's about 8,200 houses a day being sold in pre-probate. There's a ton of opportunity in what I'm talking about. So I've been doing this 22 years. We talked about that. I consider myself just as much in senior living now as I do in real estate. I consider myself a senior transition specialist, right? I help these families unlock their equity. It's more than just the house. A lot of times the house is the easy part. It's what do we do with the stuff? When can mom move in? Is it a double move? All these other things that the family has to be prepared for. I help the adult children to unlock that equity. I've never seen anything as simple or as profitable or as big as becoming a senior transition specialist. So I'm excited to be here tonight to show you this straightforward system. To be clear, you do not have to have a real estate license to do what I'm talking about. If you have a real estate license, that's not a negative either, right? I've had one since probably 20 years. You don't have to have a real estate license, but it doesn't hurt you if you already have one. So I'm glad to be here tonight. Here's the question I have for you guys, right? Everyone says that there's no inventory, no inventory, no inventory, no inventory, right? But then you look at the Wall Street Journal and they put out these articles that say, okay, Boomer, who's going to buy your 21 million homes? 21 million over the next 20 years. That wave is happening right now, right? I hope you realize right now with what I'm talking about, getting into senior living. Lori, I know you remember Gene Garino, right? We just lost Gene, one of my mentors. It's, you know, I'm sad because I needed to learn so much more from him. And he talks about, this was his quote, you're going to work in senior living whether you want to or not, so you might as well embrace it. And I love that line because, guys, when you think about the houses that you buy in real estate, are they 28-year-olds or are they 82-year-olds, right? You've been working in senior living, you just haven't put a system around it to get those leads to come directly to you. So I hope you know with the right training, with knowing who to talk to, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get those leads to chase you.
Philip, I just want to validate what you're saying. In the last 6 months, all of the homes that we have purchased have been 65 and older.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them, right. You want to know a crazy stat? I think it might even be in this tonight. 50% of the houses in the United States are owned by people over the age of 65 with no mortgage. It's about 9 trillion. That's with the T in real estate, right? So everybody's saying there's no inventory, yet these 21 million boomers are going to sell their house over the next 20 years. That's 1 million opportunities a year. And that's why I love senior living and how it relates to the real estate business, why we're all on this tonight, right? How do we get these leads to chase us? What I want you to know, if you don't take me up on this offer, the worst case that's going to happen is that you're going to just be right back in what you're already doing, this revolving door of marketing ad spend, right? I've been there, guys. I've spent millions of dollars on marketing. I know what it's like to spend money and not get the results that I wanted. And so I've now built a business that comes directly to me. And so when you look at senior living, there's not much competition. what's happening, guys, is that investors, people on this call tonight, a lot of them don't take the time to build, I call them oil wells, or what I should call relationships in senior living, to build the relationships to where they know, like, and trust you. Let's say those 3 words again. Known, getting known is easy. Getting liked a little bit easy. It's a little harder, but getting trusted is the key. If you're known, liked, and trusted, these people in senior living will now trust you with their families to unlock that equity. And so most investors aren't taking the time to do that the right way. Investors, we're talking about Gene again. Guys, I want to be clear tonight too, when you hear the word senior living, a lot of people think I'm talking about taking a single family home and turning it into a residential assisted living community. To be clear, that is not what I'm talking about at all. I'm saying every person that moves their family into senior living, whether it's a small RAL or a big box community, that's the moment of what we're talking about. That's the moment they need to sell that house to unlock the equity out of the house to pay for that very expensive care. This is a little known niche that's really hidden in plain sight. Like I said, 7 out of 10 Americans over 65 are going to be moving into long-term care. They're going to need to unlock that equity well before they pass away. And what we're going to find out tonight, guys, this is exciting. Realtors are usually not the best option for these families when they're going through this moment. So I'm excited to share this with you. This is for people who want a clear plan on how to get into real estate investing, but they're not quite sure how to get started. Guys, this picture is a little bit, it's funny, right? But does this look like your marketing efforts today? Is it just truly the blind leading the blind, right? Are you just doing what everyone else is doing? Are you doing anything unique to not fish in the same pond that everyone else is? One of my favorite quotes is this: don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it, right? Guys, I want you to stop making real estate so hard. Your marketing budget can be zero. You can be the only investor in your city working these deals. Here's another big one. You can actually be proud of your business. You can build something that's sustainable, right, through any economy. I always say, you know, if you're in the bandit signs, right, you can get leads from bandit signs, but why do you put bandit signs out at 3 in the morning with the Google Voice number? It's so you don't get arrested, right? Are you proud of your business? I'm not knocking bandit signs, to be clear. I'm saying, but helping seniors in one of their biggest times of need, this is something you can be proud of, right? And so the Mom's House program, you know, why I'm on here tonight, why I'm talking to everyone is that we have nationwide relationships in the senior living world. I'm actually standing here right now. I'm in Nashville. I live in St. Louis, but I'm in Nashville right now. We're meeting with these companies that have thousands of leads per month, thousands of these families moving into senior living, and they trust in us to help those families unlock the equity. So why I'm here is we're looking to help serve these families who are transitioning their parents into senior living. I can't be everywhere at once. You know, I'm in the St. Louis market, but we're looking for help nationwide. There's more opportunity than we have the hands to help us currently. And these leads are coming in by the thousands. And so, you know, Lori, our goal, our 5-year goal was to get to 10,000 leads a month. We're going to be there this year. And I think our real goal is maybe 30, 40, 50,000 leads a month. You know, this is a big, big deal. I think this is the future of real estate. And that's why we're talking about it tonight. So what does it mean to become a senior transition specialist? What does that mean exactly? It's a person who builds relationships with key stakeholders in the senior living world. They help seniors and the adult children of seniors through a very difficult time. And when I say that, that's an understatement, right? We were talking tonight with an expert. Families that get along don't get along during this process, right? The greed comes out, the fighting comes out. These are families that like each other, let alone the ones that don't like each other, right? They need to unlock that cash to pay for the long-term care so they can move mom in quicker. We buy houses from seniors. Guys, if you want to keep them as a rental, great. Lori talked about inflation, right? You should be buying these houses and keeping them as rentals. But if you want to do flips or if you want to do wholesales, that's up to you. I'm not tied to what you do with the properties. This is a lead source. And once you have the lead source that comes to you, what you do to dispose of the properties is truly up to you. Guys, we also have a nationwide buying network. So if you say, Phil, I love this idea. I'm going to go out and build these relationships. I want to get in front of deals, but I don't know who to sell them to. We actually have a nationwide buying network that wants to buy deals. Lori would say this too. Money is not the hard part right now, right? Finding good deals is the hard part. There's so much money out there. People want to buy good deals. Good deals are really, really hard to find. So these are a few companies that we work with. Why I'm in Nashville right now. We just signed up 2 more companies this trip. And so that is growing every single day. These are the types of companies that trust in Mom's House to unlock that equity for care. So why becomes a senior transition specialist? Why would I want you to do that? It's something that's sustainable. We've got 20 years in front of us now. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for 11 years, but it's got 20 years in front of us. If you guys are building a business around things like text message blasting, what has happened in the past 6 months about text messaging, right? I've got buddies that are settling lawsuits because text messaging is basically spam. It's not the business you want to build. So this is sustainable. So as long as people continue to get old, this silver tsunami, why, we'll talk about the 1031 exchange in a minute. This is not going anywhere for the next 20 years. It's something you can sink your teeth into and build a business around. It's growing like no other sector in real estate. You could truly be first to market in your counties, your cities that you work. It's really exciting and fulfilling to help others. I've been doing it for 11 years. I've had a full life because I've been able to help these families, and I make a great real estate living, right? There's multiple ways to make money from real estate and with what the family is going through. And once again, it's something to be proud of. So if that resonates with you, you might very well be a great senior transition specialist. You get to set your own hours. Everyone I work with is thankful. Why do I put that in there? You guys ever work like divorce leads or even probate, right? There's usually something negative going on, right? Nobody's mad at Nana because she has to move into senior living, right? They're just trying to unlock this equity. They're trying to get things figured out so mom or Nana or whoever can get the best care as quickly as possible. There's no more awkward phone, cold calls or tough negotiations. I come in, I'll teach you how to make your best case. And the families, I buy about 4 out of 10 houses I'm closing on because that's how good these leads are. There's really no limit to the income you can make, and you'll truly have a fulfilling life by helping people. So guys, here's a couple more stats. Did you know that moving mom or dad into senior living communities, they are saddled with a huge monthly payment? On average, it's about $6,000 a month. Some Americans have a lot of money in the bank, but most do not. Most families have to sell the house to pay for care. They have to unlock that equity. These families have to liquidate their assets before they can qualify for certain government programs like Medicaid. And guys, this usually happens almost always. You think it's uncommon, but it's really, really common. Some sudden occurrence, like mom fell down again, now she has to have a hip surgery, and now the doctor said, hey guys, mom can't move back home. So this happens very fast, and these families are like, now what do we do? The crazy part is that communities, they don't actively help. Why? They're passive. They're in the care business. They're not in the real estate business. And that's actually a really good thing. They're not your competitor. They're in the care business. They want to give care. They want everyone to show up with a bag of cash, not show up with a house where all the equity sits. There's companies out there that are giving these loans, these short-term loans at high interest rates to try to help the family get the house rehab and all this stuff that the family should not be doing. A lot of times real estate communities think that realtors are the only option, right? And so this picture, maybe somebody can put in the comments, what is happening in this picture? Anybody here from Kentucky tonight? This term is called being drawn and quartered. And we're going to focus on the quartered part. So in that picture in the middle, that's daughter Judy. And on the 4 corners, she's being pulled apart by at least 4 different people. You've got your mom that you just moved in. You took her out of her forever home. She just had surgery. She just got moved into community. She's cantankerous. You've got the community who says, how are you going to pay $6 grand a month to let mom live here? You're scrambling on how you're going to get this money to pay for mom's care. You've got your brothers and sisters that live all over the country. Do you guys know the average child lives over 400 miles away? And they're all questioning every decision that daughter Judy makes about mom's care. Then keep in mind, daughter Judy is still married with children. She still usually has a job. She's active, and she just doesn't know what to do. She's ready. She's used all of her paid time off. She's scrambling. She's being pulled in 4 different directions. And guess what happens when the real estate agent shows up after Judy's being pulled in these 4 directions? The real estate agent says, clean this place out, do this list of rehab items, and then we'll try to get the number that Zillow says. And daughter Judy says enough, there has to be a better way. And that's how mom's house was born. So guys, every house we go by looks exactly like this picture on the screen, right? This is how every house that we buy looks, just like this, right? Or is it more something like this? You guys ever seen a house on meth? There's a house on meth, right? If every house looked like this, we wouldn't have very much to do. But the houses that we're trying to buy are the houses like this that we can add value to, right? We're looking for houses that we can add value to. And so, guys, what do you see in this picture right now? Is this an opportunity for you, the real estate investor? Do you think this house is retail ready? What do you think is going to happen when the real estate agent walks into a house like this, right? They're going to say, hey, before we do anything, let's clean this place out. The children on average live over 400 miles away. And the question immediately, in a time when they need money, they're going to ask themselves, who's going to pay for the rehab of this house, right? Because that's what the real estate agent asked. Now, not everyone's a hoarder in the same way, right? This is a hoarder. This is a hoarder. Do you guys know what you call a hoarder that you like? A hoarder that you like, you can call them what I lovingly call an aggressive collector. This person on the screen here, you know, this house is not retail ready either, but it's very different than this house right here. The point is though, whether it's this type of hoarding or this type of retail therapy, either way, these houses are not retail ready and the families have to deal with the stuff. I cannot stress enough tonight how big a deal the stuff is for the family to get past emotionally, physically, monetarily, to get past this stuff. Let me give you a crazy stat. I love my stats. In St. Louis, the average estate sale generates between $3,000 and $5,000 in revenue. 3 to 5,000 in revenue on the estate sale. The cost to put the sale on is between $3,000 and $5,000 in cost to put the sale on. So did I just say that mom and dad's stuff was worth zero? The answer is actually might be worse than that because of the time and effort it took to get to zero. And you only know that once you get past the sale and go, well, that didn't work out the way we thought. You know, dad's piano that he paid $1,800 for just sold for $40 because of the logistics of moving the thing, right? These families think everything they have is worth $1 million and it's just not. So what we're talking about tonight, the growth is obvious. Ask you guys this question right now. How many senior living communities are in your town? Do you know? Have you looked it up? There's about, in St. Louis, there's about 250 in my metro area alone. I probably know 10 of my communities. That's how little I've scratched the surface in 11 years. There's 10,000 people a day turning 65, but more tellingly, there's about 50,000 or 15,000 people a day turning 75. Guys, back in 2012, the total for long-term care spending was about $219 billion, but by 2040, it's going to be $346 billion a year spent on long-term care. Where is that money going to come from? It's going to come from the sale of their house. The silver tsunami is coming for the next 20 years. Look at this crazy stat. In 1960, look at the amount of people in the millions over the age of 85 versus what it will be in the year 2060. It's so clear that this silver tsunami is happening right now. These are the people that have the equity. They're going to need to sell their house to pay for care. This is perfect for today. You can mainly work from home. I spend maybe 1 to 8 hours. Usually it's 2 or 3 hours. And my average in St. Louis, I make around 20 grand, 15 to 20 grand would be my average in St. Louis. If you wholesale the properties into my buying network, there's really no upfront cash on your part. You know, those late night commercials that say you can make money with no credit, no money. Real estate is such a magical thing. It's true. You can really do that if you wholesale back into my network. So hero is a little bit of a grandiose word, but you know, you're not the doctor who said mom can't move back home. You're not the clean out company who said mom's and dad's stuff is basically worth zero. You're not the realtor that said, hey, clean this place out and rehab it before we sell it. You get to come in and you get to be in a happy state. You get to help them unlock their equity. Let's look at like Lisa. You know, she, the example for her, and I have a video, I won't show it tonight because of time, but she was standing there in the house that she rehabbed for the family. The family's big concern was, can we come back and see this house after you've rehabbed it? And the video, she's standing there, she's saying, as soon as the daughter Judy came into the rehabbed house, she ran right back to her room to where she grew up, and she wanted to see what Lisa did with it. And so she's finding a lot of joy in helping families in the senior living industry. Once again, why I'm on this tonight is I want to talk to you about if you have the right heart condition to be part of the Mom's House program, to be able to work with leads that are coming through from the senior living industry. You know, back in 2011, when I started this, I was kind of lost. You know, I walked into the senior living community. I had this idea that those might be great leads. And what I found was, as I walked in and I said, hello, I'm Phillip and I'm an investor. I'm a real estate agent. And I did it wrong, guys. When you walk in and say, I'm an investor, all they hear is the word shark. When you say, I'm a real estate agent, their crocodile brain just shuts off because everyone knows what a real estate agent is. It's nothing new. There's nothing great about that. That's how they've been fixing this problem for the past 30, 35 years. And so I did it wrong. And that's where my training comes in today, is how to unlock, how to keep that door open so they want to talk to me, so they understand what my value prop is to them, how the senior living industry uses me as a tool. My byproduct of doing this is getting to buy houses, but now the senior living industry uses me as a tool to help them. Everyone cares about what's in it for them. I've got this life, you know, I live a life by design. We talked about the whole life and air model. You know, I don't work very many hours in buying my business, buying these houses right now. I buy about 3 to 4 houses a month. I get about 10 leads. I'm closing, you know, 35, 40% of these leads. I like to hang out with my family. and hang out with my wife, where I got to get a better picture with no mask, but this was us down in Puerto Rico on a trip last year. And like, I love big returns for a small effort. So with my program, guys, the pre-probate flashpoint system, you can be the solution for the families. You can be the solution for the communities. You can be the real estate investor that you've always wanted to be. And I want to show you a business system that can get you those deals to come directly to you. To be a senior transition specialist, to get that certification, I'm going to show you exactly who to build the meaningful relationships with, so you just don't guess, so you don't waste your valuable time. Back in 2011, when I started, I would take a lunch or a coffee with anyone that said yes to me, but there's a lot of people that could waste your time. I'm going to show you exactly who has been fruitful for me, to me. I'm going to show you exactly what to say to them. I'm going to show you what not to say to them. I think that's just as important, what not to say. I think a lot of real estate investors like me back in 2011, they think they can just walk in and wing it. But guys, you're going to put your foot in your mouth without even knowing you're doing it. I'm going to show you what exactly is the right time to connect with senior living people. It's not while they're at the office. To be clear, I'm not going to teach you to walk in the front door and say, hey, I'm an investor, I'm a real estate agent. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly where to find them. And it's not by walking in when they're at work into their front door. I'm going to show you how to build a real estate business that comes directly to you, not just today, guys, but literally for the next 20 years. And it's very exciting to have a business that now is sustainable and comes directly to you. In your local market, I want you to think to yourself, what's your local profit, your average profit on your deals? And I want the blended average between your rehabs, your wholesales. Guys, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 deals a month, 5 deals a month with this, all coming directly to you with no marketing ad spend. If you're looking to build a rental portfolio, this is great. If you want to sell me your deals back to my network, great. Can I fund your projects? We have funding for projects nationwide. So here's Ryan. He's a guy that went out and used my system. He worked with a couple of placement agents. He actually made 57 grand. It was 40,000 and 17 grand on the 2 deals that he did. And he was obviously very successful with using this program. The fastest and easiest way to profits, guys, is through partnerships. We have over $1 billion in buying power for houses. So like we were talking about earlier, money is not the issue. We have funding. Getting in front of these deals is the hard part. I want you guys to help me with this. We have thousands of leads coming through nationwide every single month. So guys, probably one of the most important slides of this whole thing tonight. You guys, I'm going to date myself here. I'm going to take the Pepsi challenge right now with anyone on the lead sources that you love the best. This is why there's 6 reasons why these are the best leads in real estate. And I want to go through them with you. Number 1, the family needs to sell the house. Truly, they need to. A doctor is telling them they have to sell. So this is not a matter of them saying something like, well, I'll sell my house for the right price. No, a doctor is saying, hey, you need to sell your house so you can move mom into care. Second reason is about 90% of the time they have 100% equity. Sometimes they have a small second or maybe a reverse mortgage, but 90% of the time they own this house outright. And us as a real estate buyer, the real estate investor, that's music to our ears, because very rarely does a mortgage stand in the way of me buying the house. The third reason is these houses are very rarely retail ready. What do I mean? It's the year 2022, right? Are these houses retail ready? Usually what I see is even if the house was taken care of, it was clean, but I call it grandma clean, right? The hot water heater's replaced, the roof's been replaced in the past 5 years, but the paneling is in the wrong place. The kitchen's so old that it got replaced in 1991, but it's still dated again, right? They've lived in these houses so long that even when mom got that new kitchen, she's lived there so long, it's now dated again. And so they're not retail ready, and they're always full of stuff. And the stuff is a really big deal on how to, if you help the family unlock what to do with the stuff, you're going to buy a lot more houses. The fourth reason is other investors don't take the time to build these relationships with the right people in senior living. I'm out talking about mom's house right now, so I'm looking for people nationwide to help us. So we're changing that. We're helping people go out to build these relationships. But most investors, 99.9% of investors, won't take the time or don't even know who to go build these relationships with. That's what I'm going to train you. You're going to find that realtors are usually not the best option for these families. And then the fifth reason is my favorite. When I get a warm referral from someone in senior living who says, hey, Philip's the guy that he takes care of the house, he takes care of the stuff. When they put me on that pedestal, it's the warmest referrals I've ever had. Meaning I could be, I hate to say it this way, but I could be halfway incompetent and I can still buy a lot of houses when this warm transfer of trust is coming from somebody that these families are getting advice from mom's end of life care. To be clear, they want to say, where's mom going to get the best care? then immediately they say, what do we do with the house? What do we do with the stuff, right? And that's where Mom's House comes in. So these warm referrals are the best. So those 5 reasons alone, you're thinking, okay, Phil, these sound like great leads. Guys, the 6th reason, the best leads in this business are free. Free. I'm going to teach you how to build a lead source of the best leads that come to you for free. So this is a picture of me back in 2011, putting my foot in my mouth, right? I've spent the past decade perfecting the system. I did it wrong a lot. I'm stubborn, but I kept going because I knew how valuable these leads could be. You're going to walk in and you're going to say, I'm an investor, I'm a realtor, and that's not the right way to do it. I want to save you the embarrassment. I want to show you my system so you don't fail out of the gate. Stop making this business so hard. Real estate's not. It can actually be a really fun business. You can drive your marketing budget down to 0. You can be the only investor working on these deals in your market. It's something you can be proud of. So guys, I've been doing this for 22 years. So obviously on this webinar tonight, I'd love to be there live with you guys to show you, to meet everyone. I can't show you everything that I've learned in the past 22 years in less than an hour. And so that's why I have this FLASHPOINT system to teach you how to separate yourself from the crowded old school investor marketing world, which by the way, it's not working the way it used to. And everyone tells me the same thing every day. I talk to investors every day. It's not working the way it used to. How do you stand out from the we buy ugly houses types? How can you drive your marketing budget down to 0? It seems like a dream world, and I'll show you how exactly to do that. And also you get to help others while making a great living. So this is the entirety of the FLASHPOINT system. Here's exactly what you get. Tonight, you guys could get an immediate video download. It's about 6 hours of content that I've created about exactly who you're going to be networking with. But the real prize is this. We do a live 3-day training for you and your team. You get 2 tickets to come to my office in St. Louis, actually in person. I know that's hard to believe. Come to my office in St. Louis, 2 of you. I will teach you for 3 straight days on what it's going to take to build an actionable plan in your market to have these leads come directly to you. We have active after the sale training. I'm going to give you this step-by-step system. Something we call as 20 is plenty. And without spending too much time on what that means is, we used to call it the hot 100. You're going to start with 100 people in senior living. It's going to whittle down to 20. Why would it whittle down? Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone likes me, right? But 20 is plenty. And what I mean by that is if you just have 20 people in senior living that know, like, and trust you, you will have a business that can now come to you directly. And I think you can do 10, 20, 30 deals a year from those relationships. We'll give you the call scripts of exactly what to say, more importantly, what not to say. And then another big one is our credibility packet that shows you that you're actually in senior living, you know how to help these families with what they're going through. I'll show you exactly what's in my credibility packet. You get that part of this FLASHPOINT system. So guys, here it is. I'm not a big sales or rah-rah guy. My cost of this is so low. The low startup cost, it's only $997. It's only a one-time investment. There's no continuing fees. Guys, if you even do 1 deal from this, you're going to make 10 times your money back. You get 2 tickets to my live 3-day training. All I need you to do to sign up is go to momshouse.com/Lori, Lori, momshouse.com/Lori. Here's an insider secret I want everyone to know. The senior living industry needs your service. I'm here in Nashville right now. We're meeting with these communities and they're just like, yes, we need this. We want to move people in. They only have, I'm going to use the word shelf life. It's not the kind way to do it. 28 months is how long a senior on average lives with them. We add months onto the front end. The senior living industry needs our service. Keep in mind, a senior living community is a lot like an apartment building, right? Occupancy equals profits, except for the difference is they have chefs on staff, they have RNs on staff, they have activities directors on staff, right? Their occupancy is everything for their profits. And keep in mind, you don't have to pay for these leads. The best leads in real estate, not joking, are free. When you have the right plan, this is a simple process, right? I want to show you exactly who to build on your 20 is plenty, what job titles are going to be there, show you exactly where they are, exactly what to say to them. I'm also going to teach you how to ask for the sale on your first interaction. This isn't going to be a thing where I say, build relationships for 2 years and then say, could you bring me houses to buy? No, I don't have time for that. That's not, I need a return on my investment. I'm going to show you how to ask for the sale on your first interaction. You guys, you can keep your deals. You can wholesale to your local market, keep them as rentals, rehab, wholesale. I don't care what you do to dispose of them. All I want you to do is do what you say. For some real estate investors, that's tough. Hopefully for you guys, it's not. If there's a piece of your business that you don't have figured out yet, I want to help you with that. Once you have this process in place, you just repeat it like a pumping oil well. That's what I have now, a real estate business that comes directly to me. So to be clear, you can't use Google to find a list of daughter Judy's, that adult children. If you could, I'd be the first guy to line up to buy it because they're the most valuable list I've ever had. These leads come from the senior living industry to me. You can't just go out there and buy a list of daughter Judy's. You can't use Google to be part of my trusted referral network. You have to sign up for this program. And what it means to be behind the curtain inside the Senior Transition Network means you're going to have a lead source that no one else has that comes to you for the foreseeable future, the next 10 to 20 years. And I think that's well worth your time to build something sustainable. Here's what I know for certain. And I say this tongue in cheek a little bit. People will continue to age in your town, right? People, I say, well, Phil, does this work in Seattle? Does this work in California? And I always say, only if people get old in your town, right? I don't mean that sarcastically. Yes, this affects everyone. Even if, the houses in your area are $1 million, great. It's the same problem, the same issue with families. People will continue to age in your town. Here's what I know for certain. The adult children will want to give their loved ones the best end-of-life care that they can. And what I'm talking about tonight is not trendy. It's not sexy, right? It's not even a marketing tactic. It's not something that's going to be gone tomorrow. To learn more about this, to get started, all you have to do is go to momshouse.com/Lori. Couple of things to think about. This program I'm teaching you about does not have a monthly marketing cost. So it's not like you sign up for this and now you got to spend 8, 9, 10 grand a month to make it work. That's not how this works. Think about this one too. You talked about earlier, Lori, like these power couples, these females in real estate. I love that. My favorite people are the power couples that come to my program. You get those 2 tickets. They come out and they say, we're going to attack this Mom's House program together, right? If your wife or your husband got to retire from their current stressful job, what would that mean to you guys, right? What would that mean to your life? This is a great business for good people. How'd you like to be part of something like this? It's a sustainable business for any economy, something you can be proud of. You can make 90% of your time back. How much time are you guys spending on marketing efforts, right? It's a lot of work to make your phone ring, right? When you have these relationships and they come to you, you have this monthly marketing budget to zero. It kind of gives you certainty in this very uncertain world that we live in. Imagine your life when the deals chase you. That's the life that I have right now. Imagine your life when you feel significant for getting to help others. Imagine your life when you take back control of your life. Just go to momshouse.com/Lori. Get started immediately. All you have to do is get the course. There's a few hours of training. We'll show you exactly who to target, how to find them. Come to the live training. I can't stress enough. The home study course is great. That's included. But the real prize is coming to the live training, getting immersed into the senior living world. And I'll show you exactly how to have an actionable plan to implement in your business so you can make meaningful relationships with the right people out of the gate so you don't waste time like I did back in 2011 with the wrong people. So I can show you how to buy houses over and over again. Once again, guys, it's only $9.97. It's a one-time fee. You get 2 tickets to the live 3-day training. This is a really big slide I want to share with you, Lori. This is my promise to anyone. This training is so valuable that if you go through my 3-day training and you don't feel like you got 10 times your money's worth, I'll give you your money back. I'll do that for anyone. And there's a few reasons why. I know the value of what we teach. It's going to, people that go through my training, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how big this industry was, what I needed to learn. There's like so much we don't know about senior living as real estate investors. So I have this money back guarantee. It's because Lori just said it. How many of your last deals? They were all was it the past 6 months? All of them were people that were seniors or people helping seniors. And this is the future of real estate. And so I'm excited to share it with you. This live 3-day training has about a $5,000 value. You get the 2 tickets to come out and see me. These classes get bigger and bigger. That one probably has about 30 people. Guys, we have like 60, 70 people coming out to St. Louis every single month for this training. It's something that's growing. That's why I'm out here tonight talking to you fine folks about what the future of real estate leads is. And so here's a great slide, because if you're skeptical like me, you're right. Well, Phil, this sounds great, but what about, right? Let's talk about it head on. I have no problems with what about questions. Out of the gate, Phil, how much time will this take? About 3 to 5 hours a week in networking and volunteering in the beginning to build the relationships you need, and then less after that for as long as it takes you to maintain relationships. About 3 to 5 hours a week in the beginning. So I'm not giving you a full-time job here to make this be successful. Second question is, do you have to have credit? No, you do not. If you use my nationwide buying network, you get in front of these deals, you can wholesale it to us, you can make money without having to have credit. Question 3, why isn't anyone else doing this? Great question. Well, the longer I go and I'm on these programs, people are going to be doing this in your market. So guys, this is one of those things that I want you to look back and say, I remember that guy on Lori's program and he told me all about this, and man, he told me and I didn't do anything. Don't do that. You have nothing to lose because you have this money back guarantee. We're that confident in what we teach. If you say to yourself, hey, Phil, this sounds great, but I'm not a people person. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. We used to try to teach people who are very transactional to try to be more loving and caring. I used to do that. Now what I do is say, hey, if you're a business owner and you only care about the leads, I can help you hire the right person to go out and build these relationships. If that's not you, if you're not a people person, this might be a very tough business, because I am in the hugs and kisses business in senior living. We're the anti-iBuyer, right? We're there to help these families in a really bad time. The next question is, can I wholesale these? Yes. Can I keep them as rentals? Please do. How are you going to ever combat inflation if you don't have rentals? All right, please keep them. Will people stop going into long-term care soon? That's no, not even close. The silver tsunami is so big, even the government, now's the time to talk about it. The 1031 exchange is talking about getting taken away because they're trying to tax so they can have the money to pay to keep our parents, to pay for care of our own nieces and grandchildren, to pay for seniors in their house. The government wants to keep people out of the Medicaid beds because there's not enough Medicaid beds nationwide. So they're trying to, actuaries have said, what can we do to keep them from moving in? And that's to keep them in their houses as long as possible. So they want to take the 1031 exchange tax money to use it to pay for our families to take care of Nana. If you would have told me 30 years ago that there'd be a billboard in my town that says, get paid to take care of your own loved one, I would have laughed at you and say, there's no way that's ever going to be. But that's the world we live in, because this silver tsunami is so big, they don't know what to do with it. The last question is, do you have to have prior real estate investment experience? The answer is absolutely not. I don't have to unlearn you from the things that investors say, the things that real estate agents say. So if you don't have real estate experience, that's okay. I will help you get over that hump. So guys, I don't want you to think you can just walk into senior living and wing it out of the gate. I'm going to show you the copy and paste script so you have the success right away. When you get involved, I'll show you my credibility packet. I'll give you a copy of it. So go a long way to building trust in this amazing senior living industry. Just go to momshouse.com/Lori to get started. For anyone that signs up right now, the first 5 signups tonight, I'm going to do a one-on-one call with you before you even make it to St. Louis to help you start building that 20 is plenty, to make sure you're on the right track of who. By the way, in this, I'm going to show you who to talk to, but I'm going to help you build it on who exactly you're going to be building relationships with. That's for the first 5 people to sign up tonight. The second bonus is the icebreaker copy and paste script, so you don't look like this lady here that has her foot in her mouth. Investors think they're saying and doing the right thing, but they put their foot in their mouth because they don't even know about the senior living industry. I want to help you not do that wrong out of the gate. My credibility packet's included. It's exactly to show you how to unlock all the vendors that these families need when they're going through this really, really tough time. So you get all of these things, right? It's about a $13,000 value, all of it for $997. You get the immediate home study video download. You guys can start watching that tonight. You guys, the first 5 people get the one-on-one call with me. You get your exact step-by-step 20 is plenty program that I'll help you build, the call scripts, the credibility packet. So guys, all you got to do is go out and do it. The live 3-day training, we do these monthly in my office. So if you can't make it to this one and go to the next one, or we'll get you in, right? We're doing these every single month. It's only $997 and there's a money back guarantee. And so Lori, if you're willing, I want to do a question and answer. I think that's the best way. I talk fast, I know that, but I'm very passionate about this. I think it's the future of this real estate business that we all love. And so I'll let the floor be yours. However you want to do it, Lori. If you want to do questions, that's great. Or if you want to field some, I'm here for as long as you guys need me.
Awesome. So Phil, just so much valuable information there. And, you know, as an adult child of a dad that's got early dementia, everything that you're saying, it's like I see it in the field and I see it in my household. And so I just think it is one of the greatest sources of leads out there. And as somebody who's like paying for TV and marketing, and I'm thinking,
Yeah. And Lori, do you feel like you're on an island sometime dealing with your dad? Like, what do I do? You don't even know which way to turn. We're trying
always.
And we're trying to shine a big bright light on, you have options more than you realize, and people just don't know. And I think what a fulfilling way to do real estate, to get to help somebody like you going through that with your parent.
You know, and it's like what you said. So I live in California. My sister lives in Minnesota. My brother lives in Virginia. I make the decision and they get upset.
Of course, because they don't want to believe their parent is getting old, right? No one wants to believe that that's happening. So it's easier to blame Lori than it is to realize your parents are getting old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, Jeff, I'm going to have you go ahead and read out the questions to Phil and he can answer them.
Hey,
if you have any questions out there, make sure and enter them into the chat and Jeff will get them asked to Phil.
Thank you, Lori.
So Philip, I'm going to start at the bottom here. Hey, Philip, can you go through the logistics of the 3-day training a little bit more?
That'll take me 3
No?
days to go through the whole training. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The 3-day training is so intensive. We do, okay, let me give you a good example. Like Care Patrol, they're a national policeman agency, right? We do a live interview with the COO of Care Patrol. We do interviews with elder care attorneys, with like these big names. And anyone that comes to my training, they get to ask their questions live to those people. And what you're going to find is, it's not just Philip and my partner Ben. We're not the only ones saying this, right? It's the whole industry is saying, yeah, this is a huge problem. These families are unprepared. So the 3-day training is who to build relationships with. I'll give you a great example right here. The proprietor of a senior living community, the guy that owns it or the girl that owns it, is very, very different than the care manager or the social worker that's also on your list, right? A social worker and a proprietor, they could not be more different humans, yet we as a real estate investor have the same goal, but you don't have one elevator pitch for both of them. So we go deep into about 10 different job titles, the psyche of each one, what's in it for them, so as to present yourself to be the solution for whatever that person's need is. And each one of those job titles is different. So that's a good example of what we do in our 3-day training. We do a lot of interviews with experts in their fields. We actually do a field trip to senior living communities. A lot of people have never even been inside one. And it's this eye-opening thing, like, wow, I didn't realize what was happening. So the 3-day training, here's what people tell me. 2 things. We feed them really well, and we keep the room really cold. So if you come out to my thing, wear layers in St. Louis. We keep it cold in there. It's because I don't want people going to sleep on me. So the training is phenomenal. We have phenomenal reporting back about how extensive the 3-day training is. It's one of those things where like, man, I had no idea. It's like, you don't know till you know when you go through the training.
A couple people have messaged me about one-on-one training. Did you have a part of that as your offer? Did you have one-on-one or?
I do. The first 5 signups tonight, we're going to do a half-hour one-on-one call with me. That's before the training, right. Before you get to the 3-day. Keep in mind, I want to do that. Let me be clear about that, guys. You're going to have the home study that you can all start watching tonight. It's about 6 hours of content. Make it through that first, write down all your notes. So that way we get to spend that half hour. I don't want you to not have seen anything and then call me. Let's do this when we have some really good questions. I want to, spend our time wisely together.
Hey, everyone, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and I can convey those to Philip. Okay. So, I think this question's kind of been addressed, but I've got a question. Why won't a regular realtor sale work?
Sure it will. We compete with realtors all the time. If you look at the timeline to cash, a timeline to cash that I've seen for families is the clean out process. If things go well, could take multiple weeks, if not multiple ones, to get the house cleaned out before you can even start rehabbing. And so what I found is nobody's going to argue that the real estate market isn't hot right now, right? It is. It's what it takes to get that house to the retail market. So like Lori's talking about, she's the one in town. If she had to sell her parents' house tonight, the first thing she'd do is make sure her brother and her sister could fly in out of town to take the heirlooms they might want or the things they might want out of the house before she gets rid of everything else, right? The logistics of that is never quick. And so and by the way, so I was getting to a point where the real estate market's phenomenal if you can get it to on the market, right? To get the house updated, which a lot of real estate agents say, I need you to clean this house out and do this list of rehab items before we list it. A lot of families are just saying, nope, we don't want to do that. Plus we teach a program called the cost versus value guide. Did you guys know for about every $1 you spend on a rehab, you get about 60 cents back in value? So for every $1 that these families who are not prepared to rehab it, this is a moment when these families need money, And when the real estate agent says, I need you to update these things before we list it, the family's like, well, hold on. We're trying to make money or get money right now out of this, not spend more money to try to unlock that equity.
I'm out of questions. I'm out of questions, Lori. Help me out.
Well, good. I'm good.
We just got another one here from Christina.
What's it say?
So what exactly is the specialist certification? Is this something that is accredited or recognized by a specific industry? Christina Smith.
Yeah, great question. When you're through the 3-day course, you'll be a senior transition specialist. You can use that certification on your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile. One of the big things we talk about is how we present ourselves to the world. I didn't get to bring this up tonight. The senior living industry is very inclusive once they trust you. And a lot of investors are out showing the size of their checks, and they're like, it's just like, even let's just say, I love bigger pockets, but let's just say the word bigger pockets. If you're a senior, is the word bigger pockets that kind? No, it's not. Our biggest podcast in our whole industry is not good for senior living. And so we talk a lot about how we present ourselves to the senior living world, how you can be more empathetic and loving and kind. And so that's a big part of our training.
I have a question here. I'm not sure. So what is the difference between a SRES and a senior transition specialist?
Great question. The SRES is about $100, $125 a year. It's a designation that you've given that you've taken some training about senior living. That is a realtor thing. I'm not saying I'm anti-realtor. I'm saying, hold your ears, everybody. Realtors are unnecessary a lot of times for this, because guess what a realtor does? They list the house. They don't actually buy the house. They don't actually unlock the equity for the family. The buyers that I have in my program are looking to buy the houses. Are you guys trying to buy houses? We're a real estate investment association, right? I hope you're trying to buy houses. I'll give you a good example. In St. Louis, I work with one of the biggest real estate agents in our town. They do about $200 million a year. For us, that's a big deal. They have that billboard that says, we buy houses no matter what. Or I said that wrong. It's we'll buy your house guaranteed. Like, that's how they get their listings. Guess who the guarantee is? It's me. They bring me those deals because they don't actually want to buy it. The real estate agent says, hey, Phil, we've got one under contract. They don't want to list it. This is the biggest agent in town. They don't want to list it. Go ahead and pay us $6,000 and work it into the number. Guys, real estate agents, I feel like they're the way of the dodo bird. And I'm sorry, since 2017, billions of dollars have shown up to the iBuyer market to buy these houses instantly, right? Mom's House is the anti-iBuyer. We're the hugs and kisses side. We're not going to leave these seniors and what the families are going through, right? They have a lot of needs that are different than just what a computer can spit out. And so I feel like we're insulated from where the change is going, but I don't think real estate agents are as necessary for these families. They don't have to have an agent to sell their house. That's what the Mom's House, why we're building nationwide coverage of empathetic investors to go out and help these families.
Okay, so I had a question a little bit earlier about, so what's the difference, again, just ballpark, of just selling the house directly and going through your program? What's the, let's top 3 benefits, let's see.
I don't know if I understand the question, so say that one more time.
I had a question here earlier where maybe the question is, why can't you just sell the Mom's House?
Who?
The seller. So that would be the kids. So I guess help me out here.
They can sell it, right? That's what the family's trying to figure out, right? They're trying to get, if me and Lori are brother and sister, we're trying to figure out how are we going to unlock this equity, right? And if I'm back in Minnesota and Lori's there, and me in Minnesota, am I going to run the rehab or I'm going to manage the clean out from Minnesota? Probably not, right? Like one of our interviews we do with attorneys, they say the family's just like, take care of it. We don't want to mess with it, unlock the equity, but we don't want to do any of the work, right? These families don't want to do what it takes to get the house retail ready. In fact, I would say they shouldn't do what it takes to get the house retail ready. It's not the best use of their time. Let me tell you something pretty scary. If you knew tonight you only had 28 months left with your loved one, would you spend any time getting the house ready for the market and rehabbing it to try to milk a couple extra dollars out of it? I don't think any of us would, right? And it's happening by the millions of people. And Mom's House is another alternative to the retail sale. We take away those pain points that the family doesn't want to do. Remember daughter Judy laying there being drawn and quartered? She's being pulled in 4 different directions, and then the real estate agent shows up, and that real estate agent is the 5th pull saying, I need you to do all this work. And they're like, no, we don't want to do it. And so that's how Mom's House was born, is because families don't want to do the work it takes to get the house retail ready.
There's a lot of questions about the course. Okay, does the home study course you sell online cover most of what you'd be teaching? What is the extra info taught at your live course?
The home study course is great. You need to get to St. Louis. It's not the same, not even close to the same. It's a night and day difference.
Is the live course a must? I'm thinking that's a yes.
Emphatically. And let me answer the next one. We don't do it via Zoom. We don't do it via Zoom. We do it actually live in person. I'm in the hugs and kisses business. I can't hug you via Zoom, right? I wish I was in San Jose right now giving you all a hug. I can't do that via Zoom. And so, no, it is not done via Zoom. Come to St. Louis. It is worth your time. If you don't feel like you got 10 times your money's worth, I'll give you your money back. That's how confident we are on this whole program.
I think the thing that people have to understand about being there live is the connection that you make with other people in the nation that are going to be doing the same thing as you. These are lifetime relationships that you're building there. You don't want to do that just on Zoom.
That's exactly, totally right. Our graduating classes, they hug and laugh and cry together. And it's just, there's these like-minded people that we're all, we said earlier, I want to help 10,000 daughter Judys a month. We really think the number is closer to 100,000 daughter Judys a month that we can help. These are people that need to sell houses. It's the flashpoint of these families needing to sell the house. Guys, if these families wanted to rehab their house themselves, I would never get that lead.
I have one here. Can I pay you referral fees for you to refer the deals to me?
I don't understand the question. Can they pay me referral fees? What do you mean?
Someone wants to pay you referral fees for you to refer the deals to them.
No, you have to join my program, but thank you.
So how much can you make on average when you become a transitional specialist, and how do you get paid?
Well, every market's different. Because I'm building Mom's House, I like to wholesale everything. My past 3 deals, I wholesaled all 3 to hedge funds. I made $12,000 on one, $33,000 on the other one, and $36,000 on the third one. So I'm a big wholesaler. I probably left some meat on the bone there by not rehabbing it or taking it down and hoteling it or listing it myself. But in my life right now, time is my most valuable thing.
I've got a question about the schedule. Again, back to the courses. Can you hold the live person training on weekends?
I think this summer, and don't quote me on this, but I think we might do one of those in July. We'd like to do them during the week for many reasons. We want to make this a commitment to where you're going to come out and spend these 3 days with us, and so it's worth the paid time off on your job. So we don't normally do them on the weekend, but I think there might be one in July. I could find out for us.
I get it. Okay.
So Phil, I'm going to have you go ahead and wrap up with some last words to our group and how they can get to the offer again. And we certainly appreciate you. Yeah.
Guys, I've been doing this a long time and I love real estate. I love this business, but I've got this thing that's like something good in the world. There's so little good in our world. And what Lori's going through with her own dad, that's not rare, right? Millions of people are going through this and everyone's stressed out. They don't know what to do. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is one day there's going to have to make a decision and it's going to go fast. And even myself, I'm not going to be prepared for that day, even with all my training, right? It's emotional. I've heard this crazy thing that it was harder to put my parents in senior living than it was to bury them. What a crazy statement that is, right? And so what we're trying to do is in that time when these families are going through that, they don't want to rehab the house. They don't want to clean it up. They don't want to do any of the work. They do want to unlock that equity so they can spend time with mom. Mom's House is an alternative to real estate agents. It's the flashpoint of when the family needs to sell the house. This is a leads source that has a 20-year run in front of it. And I want to show you the right way to do it. A lot of you guys are smart. You're going to hear me and you're going to say, Phil walks into the front door of a senior living community and builds relationships. No, that's not true at all. And so come to this course so you don't do it wrong. I want to save you the headache of what I had to go through back in 2011. So Lori, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very much. I've always enjoyed you. And I know the people that follow you, you give great advice. And this is something you can really sink your teeth into and build a business around.
Awesome. Phil, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you in February. Take care. Have a great night and head out to momshouse.com/Lori.
Thank you,
Talk
guys.
to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lori.